Seafan Sports, a sports show that is dedicated to the Seattle sports fan. My name is Dave. This is Kevin. And you are here on our new podcast, new and improved. Here we are. Kevin, make sure that you tell everybody if they leave us comments, do it down below. Make sure you also tell them that if they subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure they turn on that bell so that you get notified when we drop something new. Also, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And if you gotta, then make sure you give us a thumbs down. Kevin,
I will be sure to tell him that, Dave.
You be sure to tell him all that. All right, Kevin, time to get serious because right now we are in a new era in Seattle. We have the Mariners on the rise, and it looks like we have our beloved Seahawks on the downfall. Kevin, what we've got coming up Sunday for Sunday Night Football, which we're really not going to get into tonight, but I do want to say that we are going to find out either what we have with Russell Wilson or what we have without Russell Wilson. Yep. And we're going to kind of go back to a few days ago. Kevin and I could not bear it. We could not bring ourselves. We could not even have a show for a couple of days after what we saw in Seattle at the hands of the Los Angeles Rams. It was awful.
It was ugly.
It was. From Russell getting hurt to the Geno interception, which I think that there was a little bit of hanky-panky going on by the defensive back, which made Tyler fall down, which probably could have been another reception for Geno. I tell you what, Kevin, as much as you don't like Geno, he sure looked good to me.
I was thinking as soon as I saw him come in, I'm like, oh no. But boy, was I pleasantly surprised. He ran the system well, very well. And I believe that if Tyler wouldn't have been held or kind of blocked to make him trip himself, he would have caught that ball and we could have actually scored a touchdown. So hats off to Geno. Mad props. I will give him 100% respect for that game. I thought he did very, very well.
I do too. I think he was efficient. I think the word that I want to use is efficient because he was taking what the defense gave him. And right now, I think honestly, that is the key to our success as far as an offense. And not only that, but Kevin, I think it's been something you and I have been screaming at the top of our lungs for the last few weeks. Hit your check downs, go to the middle of the field. Man, and I tell you what, DK looked like a man possessed every time he got that ball in his hands. Oh man, was he was on a mission. He reminded me of Gerald Everett a few games ago when he had the ball in his hands. He didn't want to go down, man. So yeah, DK looked really, really good. What it looked like is he said, hop on my back, boys. I'm going to take you guys home. And I honestly think that if we would have had the opportunity, I think we could have gone down and done something with that. But unfortunately, the defensive side of the ball, I don't see anybody saying jump on my back. No. I don't see a Superman S on anybody's chest.
No.
I see some very average players. I see the middle of the field wide open into the fact that it looks like anybody could complete passes on us.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, constantly kept seeing people doing half the team was doing zone, half the team was man on man. I don't think they know what they're doing out there. I will say the only bright spot I've seen so far this year has been in our opinion, a rookie, Mr. Darrell Taylor. I mean, he's getting to the quarterback. He's putting pressure on the quarterback. He's played very, very well for a rookie. I know he was drafted last year, but he never played. And I'm telling you, I was very critical of him this preseason and a few of those games, but so far, him and
Ford. He has 4 sacks.
Yeah.
He has 4 sacks.
So those two, in my opinion, are really Puno Ford, I mean, are really the only two bright spots on our defense.
I think Quandre Diggs has played
well. Quandre, okay, you're right. Quandre Diggs has been actually the MVP of the defense all year long. So you're right. I will agree with that one. But where are the guys we just signed this offseason? Carlos Dunlap. I haven't really seen too much of him this year.
Nope.
I mean, we just paid Jamal Adams $17.5 million, and he's complaining because we're using him wrong. I don't understand. I mean, you're getting paid that much money, and let's go to Bobby. Bobby's always Bobby. I mean, he's a solid linebacker, but is he getting too old to play the middle of the field? That is my question. I don't know the answer to that, but it sure looks pretty bad between him and Jordan Brooks. I don't see a connection like we saw with Bobby and KJ last year.
Here's the deal, Kev. Unfortunately, as a Seattle Seahawks fan and a lifelong Seattle Seahawks fan, we tend to hold on.
Yes, we do.
Hold tight onto the players that we don't want to lose.
Yep.
And Bobby has been a warrior for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me to say, I think the resources that we're spending on Bobby Wagner could be better spent elsewhere. We had a chance to get Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
And I think that he could have come in and I think they didn't sign him because I think that they were worried what Bobby would think.
Right.
He's a middle linebacker. He is much younger. We could have got him for nothing.
Oh, I know.
And we didn't even try. As far as I know, I mean, we had the cap space. We had the cap space to get Stephon Gilmore, and we didn't pull the trigger on either one of those deals. And I don't know why. Our defense is abysmal. The worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, and that brings me to my question. Who's to be held responsible for this absolute failure of a season? Is it Pete?
We're at the quarterway point, Kevin.
Is it John? Is it Ken? Is it the players? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, obviously the buck stops with Pete. I mean, he's got to be the guy that, that it all falls on, but I don't know what's causing the problem, but it has to be fixed. I think listening to Pete's interview, he was saying that we're making mistakes that we made 3 weeks ago that should never be made again. And is that Pete's fault? Is it Ken's fault? Or is it the player's fault? So that's my question. I'm going to leave it to you to answer that question.
Well, here's the deal, Kevin. What is the one thing that we asked again that we didn't want to see? We didn't want to see defensive linemen dropping back into coverage.
No.
That's a Pete problem.
That is not a problem.
It could be a kid, but I'm sorry. Ken is his puppet. Yep. Ken is not running this defense.
No.
It is a Pete Carroll defense. It's been a Pete Carroll defense, and he's been able to just out-muscle everybody up until the last. If you look at the decline since 2013 in the yards that we've given up per game, it is slowly declining because we don't have the same horses. And unfortunately, you can't continue to beat your head against a concrete wall and go, oh, it's just going to get better. Things are going to get better.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's not going to get better. And I have a feeling at this point, if we continue to go this direction, there will be three people that will not be back in Seattle next year. I don't think it'll be Pete. I don't think it'll be Russell. And I don't think it'll be Bobby. And we, at that point, will be in a rebuild.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a couple of years of suckfest, I have a feeling. And, I think that John Schneider is the right guy to do that.
I think so, too, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I think we're going to have to trade Russell to get the assets back.
Yeah.
we may even have to trade Jamal. We may have to trade, I don't think Bobby will be able to get anything out of, or actually that's why Bobby and Russell did not get their contracts extended this last offseason for a reason.
For this reason.
For exactly this reason.
Yep.
I mean, it is something that you heard. If you go on and hear it, we said it on Seafan Sports. Yep. We said they're not going to extend Russell. They're not going to extend Bobby, because the simple fact is they have to have that cap hit low for both of them at the end of this season, because we're going to be eating those dollars if we either trade Russell or we cut Russell, which I don't think we're going to cut him, but we'll trade him. There'll still be a cap hit. I see the handwriting is on the wall. You can tell. But if we have Gino come in and we win the next 3 games.
Yeah. Which are winnable games. I mean, they really are.
They're all 3 winnable games.
Yeah.
And at that point, if we can go in these next 3 games and come out 5-3, heading into Green Bay or heading in, at that point, we actually have a puncher's chance. And then that question's going, if he wins the next 3 games and he does it convincingly, there's going to be some questions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously not in Pete and John's mind. I mean, Russell's a starter now, but in the rest of us, is Russ tradable at that point? I mean, because if somebody else can run the system, that they brought in, so
he won't be traded midseason.
No way will he be traded midseason.
But I tell you what, the whispers will start.
Oh, yes, they will.
The whispers are already starting. You listen to the Colin Cowherds. You listen to the national media.
The Seafan Sports guys.
The Seafan Sports guys. Because we got the ear of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The simple fact is that Russell right now is in a little bit of kind of a bad position.
Yeah.
He's hurt for the first time.
Yep.
Not only that, but his throwing hand is hurt. Yeah. He's saying, I'll be back in 4 weeks. And the doctors are saying 4 to 8. And I've heard that I've heard one doctor say, oh yeah, it'll be 4 weeks. And I've heard one doctor say, no, it'll be 6 to 8.
Yep. Well, and I think Russell obviously is going to want to get back, and he's going to want to get back after the bye week. But if he's not ready and Gino is winning games, I don't think they're going to rush him back.
No,
I mean, they want him healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. It'll be interesting to watch for the next 3 weeks, possibly the next 4 weeks.
I hate to say this, Kevin, we were in that game. And to be honest with you, Aaron Donald really wasn't that big of a factor.
Nope.
The guy that we were all scared about really wasn't. I mean, he made some plays.
Right.
But I tell you what, that offensive line held him at bay.
Yeah, and I actually thought our offensive line did very well. And I do not think Rams defense are as good as they have been in the past.
No.
And I be honest with you, the first half, we were in that game. I mean, obviously, I think Pete made a bad decision not kicking the first field goal. Then we missed the second field goal. I mean, that would have totally changed the outcome of that game if we would have scored those 6 points. And not only that, what happened in the third quarter that Russell just fell away? Did the Rams decide to do something differently that threw our defense out of whack? Because not only was Russell inapt, but the defense was inapt in that third quarter, and it was ugly. I mean, we lost the game
because it was hard to watch.
That third quarter was, again, exactly the reason that it's painful to watch this team over this year. I mean, we've had 2 decent games. Last game against the 49ers was decent. I don't know if it would have been the same outcome, if Garoppolo would have been not injured. And our first game, I mean, those 2 games were the only 2 games our only 2 wins that we played halfway decent, and we should have won. We should have won 2 more games, and we didn't. And I totally blame Russell, and I totally blame the defense.
And not only that, but Pete. Carroll.
And Pete and Ken. I mean, those guys, it's on their shoulders. Absolutely. I don't think it's John's fault because right now we have way too much talent on this team to be this bad. And it's bad. It's painfully bad. I haven't deliberately trying not to talk about the Seahawks during the week because it's painful.
Well, that's what we do, Kevin. So let's put the entire ribbon on this podcast, and thank everybody for coming and listening to us. Again, if you guys have any reasons why you think that the Seahawks are not living up to expectations, make sure you drop it in the comments down below. And Kevin, I think we only have 2 words left for them.
Go Hawks.